Virginia Louise Jeffrey, born on August 9th, 1983, in Sacramento, California, was the daughter of Sky Williams Roberts and Lynn Trude Cabell. She grew up with siblings, though specific details about them are less documented. Her early years were marked by instability, including time in foster care, which shaped her resilience and her determination. Aspiring to be a massage therapist, Jeffrey's path took a dark turn when she began working at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's Palm Beach estate, in the early 2000s. During her time there, she crossed paths with Trump, though the extent of their interactions remains a point of contention. It was at Mar-a-Lago that Ghislaine Maxwell, an associate of Jeffrey Epstein, quote unquote, stole her from Trump, as he later claimed, recruiting her into Epstein's orbit under the guise of a lucrative opportunity. Jeffrey's involvement with Epstein led to allegations of severe abuse. She accused Epstein and Maxwell of trafficking her and other young women, subjecting them to exploitation and assault. These accusations became central to her later activism, where she emerged as a vocal advocate for survivors of sex trafficking. Founding Victims Refuse Silence in 2015, she later relaunched it as Speak Out, Act, and Reclaim, and the acronym is SOAR, in 2021. Jeffrey dedicated herself to supporting other victims and raising awareness about the horrors of sexual abuse. Tragically, Virginia Jeffrey took her own life in April 2025 at the age of 41, leaving behind a legacy of courage and a call for justice. Her story, marked by early adversity, exploitation, and a fierce fight for others, remains a poignant reminder of the enduring impact of trauma and the strength of those who seek to overcome it. Folks, I read that that bio of Virginia Jeffrey, because it seems like there's way too much attention being placed on the perpetrators, on the criminals, on the pedophiles, the sexual abusers, the traffickers. There's way too much attention being placed on them, too much being spoken about them, and not enough about the victims. Why is this important? Because, let's give a for instance, Donald Trump can just flippantly mention in a press briefing, he stole her from me. Like she was like a piece of property. He stole her from me. That's a weird way to speak about a human being, let alone a human being. She was somebody who was not a top level. She was a 16-year-old girl. Why is this 16-year-old girl, 20 years later, still at the top of his mind? Why was he so perturbed about her being poached from his staff, her being poached, that was the reason that he claimed that they became less friendly. They broke up, even though 2 years later, after she was supposedly poached, 2 years later, he's telling New York Magazine, he's a terrific guy. And some people might say he enjoys the young girls as much as I do. 2 years later, he still thinks he's a terrific guy, even though, he had stolen her. These victims are real people, and they deserve justice. And what we learned today, what the Trump administration did, is disgusting, is reprehensible, And if he goes through with the direction he's heading, it appears he's heading to see that she either Epstein's herself or he cuts her a deal where she does no more time and she's out and about and free. That would be a severe miscarriage of justice to Virginia, to her family, and to the rest of the victims. So, folks, we're going to have to get into this stuff. We are going to get into it. So I hope you're ready, because I am. Let's go. Story time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to another episode, Storytime with BDD. I felt a little strange starting off my show with such a dour subject, but it's necessary. And look, we're all grown folks here. It's not like this is new material for any of us. We're all discussing it. And it's disgusting. I see your comments there. I see that you are disgusted, sick to your stomach, as you should be, as any decent person should be. And even MAGA, I would expect that MAGA should be disgusted. I suspect that if they get the information that we're getting, and eventually it's going to trickle through, it is going to trickle through. Some of it already is, because there is a rift. There is a rift in MAGA between the people who want to defend Trump no matter what, and the people who are like, nah, we have to draw the line here. So to you, members of MAGA who are drawing the line, better late than never. Congratulations. You are a decent human being somewhere. Sandra, I see Sandra early on while waiting for the show to start, chipped in a donation. I appreciate you, Sandra. Thank you so much for the kind donation. Let me say hello to some of my peeps here, as many as I can. Lori B at the top. Whoa. Lori B, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for that. And if you don't mind, before I go any further, I am going to have to silence. I have one of those messaging apps connected to my laptop that has a notification every time somebody messages anything. And so okay, there it is. Zelda is right there underneath. Claudia's here. Sandra, there he is. There she is. Sandra, thank you very much. CJ hates Marataco. That's a good one. Shelby is here. Stephanie L from Florida. By the way, you guys, I had a lovely time last week. You guys may recall I went to Miami to celebrate the birthday of, some of you might know, Grant Stern. Grant Stern, great guy. He's super awesome on those, like when he appears on Newsmax. That brother is something else, man. He goes on Newsmax. He's almost like he's almost like channeling Pete Buttigieg. Like he's so calm, cool, and collected, and he gets on there and he twists MAGA into knots. There, if you ever get a chance to see him on Newsmax, don't pass it up. It's amazing. Bernadette H, my friend, welcome. Did I say? Of course, I said Laurie B. Joanne Kennedy is here. You guys were active in the chat. This is even before Shelby. Yeah, I got you set, Shelby. Watcher Soko. Asmila J is here. Lucy L. Cindy C. Valerie G. Foxhill Dreams. Monique Lee. Candace GT. all these rhyming names. Let's see. Somebody who's going to be the non-rhyming? Ginger's mom. Oh. Ginger's mom. No rhyming. Stella Baxter is here. Dexter Wright. Howdy, everyone. Okay, so let me go ahead and jump in. Oh, there's Joe. Joe is here. I don't know if that's not Joe. Joe would have let me know. Punxsutawney Mo. What's up, my friend? There he is. Says Ari Melber is reporting that Maxwell is being transferred to a minimum security prison. Yes, I believe it's either that or she was at a minimum security prison and is being transferred to a federal prison, which is even lower security than that. And what does that mean? It means that whoever is trying to get to her will have easier access. If I'm assuming, if someone were to try to get to her, I'm not saying that they would. I'm just saying, we all know what happened with what's his face, Jeffrey Epstein. So here's an interesting comment from CCLLW. CCLLW says, I don't know about anyone else, but the reason I keep talking about the Epstein files is because it seems as though this would be a very good in to getting Orange Man out of our White House. You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong, because he is seemingly impervious to any other kind of negative news. What? He lied? Nobody cares. He lied 30,000 times. They didn't care about the first 30,000 times. They don't care about the second 30,000 times. He cheated on his wife. Oh, who cares? Nobody's perfect. We didn't elect an angel. All that stuff. You hear all that stuff. Do they care if he's grifting them? If he's charging them for sneakers and Bibles and all that? No, they don't care about that. Do they care if he wrecked the Rose Garden? They don't care about any of that stuff. But this particular topic, Jeffrey Epstein and pedophilia, they have the right wing has made pedophilia like their Rubicon line, their red line. They do not cross, you go straight to jail, that sort of thing. Marie Novak is here. Sharon Landry is here. Then XM Riot says things are lining up nicely for 2026. I certainly do hope so. From your lips to God's ears. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. Let me jump into the content of today's show. You guys know I like to start off with our stories of the day. in case anybody was wondering, when that booming voice, stories of the day, when you hear that, the old timers of the show, fans of the of the older show, will recall that's my voice. Just run through some kind of voice modification thing that was fun. I was goofing around with for a while. Okay, so the title slide for today's episode is Trump's losing MAGA, Maxwell move madness. I just love alliteration. I am a sucker for alliteration. Yeah, so he's made some very bizarre, peculiar statements this week and last week, and this whole time, just like there is a scene from excuse me, there's a scene from Austin Powers, the third Austin Powers movie, where they tell Austin Powers that the agent that you're about to work with, it's Fred Savage, you know, the guy from one of those shows, like the Wonder Years. I think he was in the Wonder Years, Fred Savage, and he's grown in Austin Powers, and he's a mole, I think, on his nose or on his chin, and they said he has a pretty noticeable mole. Just don't say anything about it, right? So when he comes into the room, Austin Powers sees it, and then he accidentally says, "It's nice to mole you," or something like that. And then once that happens, all he can see is the mole, and he can't stop saying mole, mole, mole. And it's like Donald Trump has that similar kind of mental block where he is saying every wrong thing about Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Jeffrey. He said Jeffrey or Guffrey? I feel like it's Guffrey. I've been saying Jeffrey. Anyway, let us continue. So today's the jobs report came out for July, and it was abysmal. And while this is the United States, and I am part of I'm a member, I'm a citizen of the United States, and while this news should be bad, right? I shouldn't really be cheering this news, but I am cheering because, you know what? A portion of the country thrust this jackass upon us, and we actually had a good economy at one point. It wasn't that long ago. It was Joe Biden. Joe Biden oversaw a thriving economy that was averaging 242,000 jobs per month. And now we got this 73,000 in 1 month, and it's only going to get worse. Cindy C is correcting me here. Gouffre or Jufre? Anyway, thank you. Gouffre, right? Not Jufre. Jufre? Sorry. Oh, okay, here we go. Simon Metcalf, my friend, thank you for the correct Jufre. I'm going to go with Jufre. I like that one. All right. Moving on. Oh, in other news, in the distractions department, Donald Trump has repositioned 2 nuclear submarines because somebody said mean words to him on the internet. And you may or may not recall Hillary Clinton's now prescient tweet from many years ago that says, a man who can be baited by a tweet should not have access to the nukes. This is true. Last but not least, as you know, we have to get into why Ghislaine Maxwell was moved, how that happened, because it wasn't supposed to happen. It's like how it went down, kind of illegal. And I got some news from our friend Allison Gill, aka Muller, She Wrote. She gave me some insight from her Substack. And of course, we have the dumbest Trump comment of the week, that's stiff competition because, he makes 5 or 6 or 10 dumb comments per day on average, that we know of. And if this is your first time here, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. You will find the like button looks like a thumbs up, and the subscribe button is in the lower right corner of your screen. And let's see. This week, my Substack was Trump's crumbling mob presidency is a corrupt clown show. Excuse me for the slurping. And it says, from bumbling cabinet picks to tariff shakedowns, Trump runs the White House like a mafia boss minus the competence. Yeah, so you guys know me by now. You know that I watch a lot of TV and I watch a lot of movies, and I often like to compare things to movies and TV shows because that's how I relate. I get down like that. And so, I was kind of looking at the Trump presidency, and Trump himself operates a lot like a mob boss. Let me give you for instance, he does this thing where he expects you to do something, but he doesn't spell it out, because if you spell it out, your phones are tapped and everything is tapped. So he operates as though someone is listening. So he doesn't explicitly come out and say it, but that you're supposed to do. Usually. Sometimes he's a dumbass and he just actually does just blurt things out. But in other regards, the mafia, despite the fact that when you watch a mob TV show or a mob movie, and you hear him talk like this, hey, Joey, hey, what did I tell you about, hey, make sure you leave the gun and take the cannoli, all right? Jeez, I'm trying to tell you. Despite the fact that you hear them speak with that dialect and that accent, that doesn't belie their intelligence. They're actually highly intelligent, and they're highly organized and highly efficient. That's why they've been able to stay in operation for so long. They're not stupid. They're not stupid, unlike Donald Trump and his administration, which is the dumbest criminal organization possibly of all time. Here's a snippet from my Substack here. Hang on, let me make this bigger. What was once illegal is now forget about it. He eliminated the law prohibiting bribes to foreign entities. Bribes! And the crypto coin he set up prior to assuming office, which bears his name, now exists as a direct and anonymous bribery wallet. And who's going to hold him accountable for it? His corrupt cheerleading attorney, Attorney General Pam Bondi? The tragedy is that real mob bosses, for all their evil, at least they value efficiency. Trump's model is fatally flawed, built on a foundation of ineptitude and arrogance. His empire is crumbling under the weight of his own greed and the incompetence of his inner circle. But the danger remains. A cornered capo is a desperate one. We can only hope the residents of this battered neighborhood, voters, activists, and honest public servants, rise up before Trump's got every cop in his pocket. So yeah, please make sure you check out my Substack. That one is free. It's free to read. But of course, as always, I greatly appreciate it if you become a paid subscriber. That helps me continue to produce the kind of content that I produce to help inform and entertain you. This next topic is something that, frankly, I don't speak about enough, and I feel horrible for not speaking enough about it. I feel overall people have been bullied away from discussing this topic. And by this topic, I mean the Palestinians starving in Gaza right now. I feel like the media has kind of been bullied. I don't know if it's by Israel or by Netanyahu or by the government, by the American government, but it's a damn shame. This should have never gotten to this point where there are people starving and dying. Starving and dying. We are the richest country on the planet. There's absolutely no excuse. None. They just torched, somebody just torched 500 tons of food that was about to go, that was about to expire. That could have fed a lot of people. This is a crisis, and a lot of people, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, has referred to this as a genocide. And I think there has been a lot of reticence, a lot of reluctance for people to refer to it as a genocide. And I say there's that reluctance there because, you know, it's a loaded term. But how else do you describe it? How else do you describe, look, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, they are there dictating what happens. They dictate who goes where, who crosses the street. They dictate where you sleep, how much electricity you get. They call all the shots. They decide how many trucks of food get through. Food and aid. When I say aid, I mean medical aid and things that are critical to human beings. And these human beings are being systematically destroyed. If you prevent food from getting through, there's no other conclusion you can draw other than this is a fucking genocide. And very disappointed in myself for not having, wish I had spoken up sooner. I wish I had, so when Kamala was running, I was trying to not become that person on her flank who's attacking her, because she was already being attacked by the people, the no commitment crowd, the people who were going to vote against her just because they wanted to make a statement. And I get it. Totally get it. I'm not criticizing them at all. But what I was trying to do was trying to get her in, because I thought between her and Trump, it's a binary choice. You have to choose who's going to be less horrible to the Palestinian people. And yep, I hear your arguments already. Oh, she stood by and she watched as the United States provided them with bombs and missiles and whatnot. Yeah, I understand that. But she also was dead set against the cruelty and dead set against the response. What's it called? The unbalanced response. So I need to speak up more, and I'm going to do my damnedest to try to make a difference. It's just my little voice out of millions, but something has to be done. Something has to be done. And yeah, it took me too long to get to this point, but I'm here. So, as I mentioned earlier, the United States economy was at one point, not too long ago, was the envy of the world. And when I say not too long ago, I'm talking about October 2024 was when this article from The Economist was published, when it deemed Joe Biden's Joe Biden's economy was deemed the envy of the world. Yes. And it's hard to see why not. You know, he was breaking records on the stock market daily. The job gains were through the roof. You know, wages were on the way up. This economy was humming. And as Lucille points out, now we are the embarrassment of the world. Well said and accurate. So the July jobs report came out today. This is on Fox News, mind you. And I just want to play for you. I thought it was I thought it was interesting. I saw a clip where what's her face? Maria Bartiromo is announcing in real time. She's looking at the numbers, and so you get her reaction, and it's kind of funny to see it. Let's see. Hang on. Storytime content. Let's go. Yeah, here it is. Now, I want you to look at the text here in Aaron Rupar's tweet. It goes dun dun dun. So you guys know that. Hang on. You know what dun 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 is, right? Of course you do. It's that's dun dun dun. One more time. That never gets old, man. All right, so let me go back to that. Oops. Share screen. Yeah, here we go.
The NASDAQ down about 200 going. 73,000 jobs. 73,000 jobs created in the month of July. Number just coming out.
And that's total.
4.2% is the unemployment rate, right in line with expectations. Here are the numbers. For the month of July, jobs came in at 73,000. That was lower than the expectation, which called for 110,000 jobs. The unemployment rate right in step with expectations at 4.2%. Steve Moore, your reaction.
Look, I think this is all a result. This disappointing number is a result of all the turmoil over tariffs and the trade wars. And
the NASDAQ.
Yeah. In real time. I love the real time reactions because there's no filter for that. For the shock and awe. Tina Bradford says, what he did to the Rose Garden makes me sick. We are going to cover that, I promise you. So as it says here in this NBC News article, the U.S. job market was weak in July, and previous months were worse than thought. Yes, in previous months, they had to adjust it down, right? The sharp revisions of government data show the U.S. created just 33,000 jobs total in May and June. What? 33,000 jobs in May and June? You know, when Joe Biden had an off month, it was like 120,000 jobs. And everybody's like, oh, God forbid. Oh, 33,000 jobs combined for 2 months. Let me say, Zelda, you're fantastic. We love you so much. Thank you. Thank you so kindly for this wonderful, generous donation to the show. We appreciate you. Really could not continue without your support. Thank you so much for this. Back to this. Whoops. And then here is, this was from this afternoon. brace yourselves for this, because this was shocking, even for somebody who has paid attention to every dumb thing Donald Trump has done. This one almost took my breath away. He says he was just informed by our country that our country's quote unquote jobs numbers are being produced by a Biden appointee, Dr. Erica McIntyre, the Commissioner of Labor Statistics, who faked the jobs numbers before the election to try and boost Kamala's chances of victory. This is the same Bureau of Labor Statistics that overstated the jobs growth in March 2024 by approximately 818,000. And then again, right before the 2024 presidential election in August and September, by 112,000. These were records. No one can be that wrong. Apparently, somebody was that wrong just now. For you. You were fine with it. I have directed my team to fire this Biden political appointee immediately. She will be replaced with someone much more competent and qualified. And by competent and qualified, that means by somebody who will fake the numbers to make me look good and then will not correct them later on. See, he makes a horrible, horrible accusation there. He, like every accusation from this jackass, is a confession. He assumes that just because he is a faker, is somebody who doctors up information and data to make himself look good. He thinks everybody operates that. No, it's just you. It's just you, Donald. And then, so now we are living in the emperor has no clothes time. This is what we're living in right now. He cannot be told that his shit stinks. Now he said he posted, in my opinion, today's job numbers were rigged in order to make the Republicans and me look bad. Nobody needs to make you look bad. You made yourselves look bad with that quote unquote big, beautiful bill. It's a big bullshit bill. And it's one of the reasons why your members of Congress had to cut out early. It's why they can't hold a town hall without being rained on with booze. They're getting demolished in these town halls because they are so bad. Has nothing to do with jobs numbers. Frankly, nobody really pays attention to the job numbers except for people like me. People like me, and maybe you guys too. I don't know how much you pay attention to jobs numbers, really. But the regular Joe, he's not waking up looking for jobs numbers. He's looking for the back page of the New York Post. He's looking for the sports section. He's looking to see if anybody was robbed in his neighborhood. He's looking for the funny pages. He's looking for the Sudoku. I used to do that every day myself. But yeah, he's a clown. Now, back to this topic. I forget who brought this up, but thank you for bringing this up. I think it is obscene that in an economy where people are struggling right now, struggling to pay for food because his tariffs have jacked the prices up. I can tell you right now, beef is way up there. Wifey and I went to the supermarket the other day and we get some ground beef. And I was like, is that the price? Holy fucking shit. A little thing like this, 18, 19 bucks for ground beef. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Vegetables are up. Fruits are up. And he is talking about, he's adding this, mind you, to the free, $4 billion jet, $3 billion jet that he got from, I forget how much that thing was. Was it 400 million maybe? Oh, and I am just being told that Candace, if you're out there, Candace pitched in a donation of $10. Thank you so much, Candace. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the kind donation to the show. I appreciate it. I forget how much that jet was. That's got to be in the billions, because it's supposedly it's going to take the rest of his term to refurbish this. And then we just found out yesterday that they are going to let him keep that jet, which we all knew the whole time, but they were acting like we're the crazy ones. What are you talking about? He's giving it over to the Air Force. No, he's not. He's going to keep it. He's adding it to his presidential library. Nonsense. That's silly talk. Now, $400 million. Okay, Dexter says $400 million gift. And Joe, thank you for the super sticker. So in addition to that jet, he's also talking about spending, I think, $200 million. Wait, is it 200 million? 90 million? I forget how much it is. I think it's $200 million on creating. Yeah, it is $200 million on creating a ballroom, a fancy 90,000 square foot ballroom for the White House. Who needed this? Well, who needed this? Nobody needs this. Look, I've been to the White House. There have been some nice events there, fancy events, very fancy, fancier than I've ever been to. There is no way they need to fancy it up more. Look at the gold bullshit that he's put in the Oval Office right now. It looks gaudy and cheap. It's stupid. And then right there, the Rose Garden. They've paved over the Rose Garden. It's like that song, Paved Paradise to put up a parking lot. What the fuck? And he's doing this while kicking millions of people, 17 million people off of Medicaid. They're kicking millions more off of SNAP food assistance. Poor people. So their calculation is that poor people are too busy struggling to stay a fuck alive to notice that he's the one pulling the strings on this bullshit. Huh? That's disgusting. If you're not disgusted by that, you're not paying attention. Fucking outrage. Oh, yeah. And I just saw this. I thought I'd bring this to your attention if you didn't already know. Trump's impeachments have been removed from a Smithsonian exhibit for now. You love how on the march towards authoritarianism, the people are telling us it's not so bad. It is so bad. As you know, there's already been talk about a vast overhaul of the African American Museum because, God forbid, a fragile white person should have to read that slavery actually happened, was a thing that happened in the United States, and Jim Crow and all that stuff. Racism. It's a serious problem. They call us the snowflakes. But they're the ones who can't deal with actual shit, with reality. They can't deal with it. Yes, it was Jackie's Rose Garden. So very sad. Like, there was no need to do that. Absolutely no need to do that. It was beautiful. Disgusting. That was oh, and what else is he doing? I think he said he's going to rename the John F. Kennedy Center for the Arts after Melania. Miss I don't really care. That? This is all part of it, I think, is to is to give something to his base, because he knows that he's shit the bed. He knows he fucked up with this Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein thing. So he's trying to give them something to remind them, hey, look, I'm still owning the libs. I'm still, they're going to be mad about this Jackie O thing. So give me a break. He's saying, he's trying to say he might be a pedophile, but he's the pedophile you voted for. So, goddamn son of a bitch. And then the stock market took a dive this morning, as if anybody cares. It dived about 500 points. I don't know what it ended up at, but it was reacting to Donald Trump's tariff, bullshit. Yeah, he has no idea what he's doing. This whole tariffs thing, we all laughed when he said it's going to be 90 days, 90 deals in 90 days. That never happened. Taco Trump was born. The whole Trump always chickens out thing, after 90 days, we're going to see. And then sure enough, he pushed back the tariffs on, I forget who was it, Mexico. I think he pushed back. He said, this was like Wednesday. Hang on, wait. Wednesday. Here we go. Here's my tweet. Trump Wednesday. There will be no tariff extension. And then Trump Thursday, the very next day. Oh, we've agreed to extend another 90 days to Mexico. Why? Why, if you are the leader of a country, why would you even bother to negotiate with Donald Trump? If you see that he's not negotiating in good faith, he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just throwing numbers out there. 90 days for you, 50% for you. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's playing this by the seat of his pants. It's unbelievable. Okay, where was I? Oh, so I wanted to show you, this is how bad he is shit the bed with the economy. Las Vegas, I've been to Las Vegas probably a handful of times. It's a cool place. If you if you don't go with the intention of like losing all your money at a casino, if you go for the shows and maybe for a dinner, that's cool. It's really is a cool place. Everybody should go, I think, at least once. Oh, Tina, this is a great idea. Trump's shit stinks would be a great protest sign. I'm with you on there. I'm with you right there. But yeah, I got to show you what Las Vegas looks like now. Some of you may have already seen this video or videos similar to it. But yeah, let me make sure you guys see this, because it's wild. Shocking.
I ain't never seen Vegas look like this on a Saturday at 1 a.m. Where's the people? Holy shit, dude. What the fuck? Like, I can't make this shit up. Holy shit, bro. This is a Saturday at 1 a.m. Where are the fucking people? Look, even on the Venetian Bridge over there. Nobody. Holy shit.
That's a very big deal, folks. That is a very, very big deal. For those of you who are familiar with how like big cities, how big cities work, at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're a big city and there's nobody out, something just happened. Something happened, right? There's either a major storm on the way, like there, I don't know, sirens went off or something, people are hiding, something happened. That's crazy. That's crazy. 1 o'clock in the morning, Vegas. That's insane. That has to be addressed because, this guy talked big. He talks big every day. Every day he says he's sitting in a press conference, a press briefing, and he trashes Joe Biden. He says a year ago, and I know this because I've seen every one of his asshole press briefings for the whole past 7 months. Say a prayer for me. He says, a year ago, our economy, this country was dead. And now people tell me that we're hot. You know when he started saying that? After he went to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, fuck you for putting that in his brain. Because ever since he went to Saudi Arabia, every day it's like, now they say we're hot. If somebody in Saudi Arabia said that to him, my friend, United States is hot. That's what happened. My friend. God damn it. So yeah, let's see. Hang on. He's got his approval ratings on inflation are in the tank. And this is a Fox News poll from a few days ago. Excuse me. 62% disapprove, only 36% approve. He is in the tank. Now let's fast forward to this insanity of today. So today, this picture on the screen is from 2017. You guys might remember, if you were paying attention, you'll remember the shock from seeing Russian dignitaries in the Oval Office and Donald Trump like a little boy opening his gifts on Christmas Day. Look at him. He's so amazed with himself that he's blushing. Dude is blushing. Look at his face. It's not even orange there. It's like red. He's like red with glee. He can't even believe. He probably has a little tiny chubby right there. So anyway, one of those guys was Sergei Lavrov. And Lavrov said something the other day that got Donald Trump got him all up in his feelings. Let's see. I think it might have been this. Lavrov on accusations of Russian interference in the U.S. elections. It's humiliating for the American people to hear that the policies are led from Russia. I don't know if that's the one that pissed him off, but apparently something got him all up in his feelings. And so he repositioned 2 nuclear submarines. This is not a small thing. I don't know how big it is, but it's not nothing. It's not nothing when you, the president of the United States, the most powerful country in the world, make a public announcement that, that's almost like saying, I'm locked and loaded and I'm pointing my gun at your nuts. That's like telling somebody who also has a gun to point at your nuts and the nuts of your friends and the boobs of your family and all that. It's like, that's very provocative, I think, to get from somebody that Trumpers swore was going to be this like peaceful guy. So there's Hillary Clinton's tweet. A man you can bait with a tweet is not a man we can trust with nuclear weapons. It's Hillary's tweet. And he said, based on the highly provocative statements of the former president. It's not even the current president. He's the former president. The former president of Russia. Oh, Medvedev. That's who it was. Excuse me. Not Lavrov. Sorry. It's not like you all look alike, Russia. Sorry. Medvedev, Lavrov. You have so many V's in your name. Come on, my guy. Hey, my friend. Medvedev, excuse me. Anyway, you get the point. Russian guy, former Russian president. But the current Russian president, you're not going to see. He don't want that smoke. He's not talking shit about. That's so weird. He would have a problem with the former president, who is not calling one shot. He's not calling any shots whatsoever. It's Putin. Say Putin, motherfucker. Huh? You want to act like a big tough man? Oh boy. What a joke. What a total joke. But here's what's not a joke, okay? This is our main story of the day, and it's Donald Trump cannot distance himself. He cannot escape the Jeffrey Epstein story. It is a monster. It is a Frankenstein monster of his own creation. It's alive! Of his own creation. He stoked the fears. He stoked the conspiracy madness of his base. He made them believe that there was some kind of list containing nothing but Democrats, nothing but evil Democrats who drink the blood of babies. He let them believe that he was going to punish those evil Democrats. So the pictures you see on the screen are of Trump and Epstein, and also Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell is currently the only person who is serving time for her crimes and the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a notorious child sex trafficker. Ghislaine Maxwell was the person steering these people to Jeffrey Epstein. So she was complicit in that. She knew what the fuck was going down. She knew what was happening to these girls. She knew how old Virginia Giuffre, excuse me. She knew how old she was when she poached her. And she knew, there are interviews, and I wish I had, actually, I'm not, I don't need to replay her interviews where she talks about what was happening, but there were no massages that she gave Jeffrey Epstein that were not sexual in nature. None. She did say this in an interview. And if MAGA were serious when they said, protect the children, punish the pedophiles, Donald Trump would have been history. There would be thousands upon thousands of red hats wielding pitchforks standing outside the White House. But no, there's none of that. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. This was a birthday message unveiled recently from Donald Trump to the guy he said was a terrific guy. 2 years after that terrific guy stole Virginia, the 16-year-old Virginia Giuffre. He knew what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. That was his pal. He said a pal is a wonderful thing. He's drawing him pictures. He's typing up birthday cards for this guy. He had a deep relationship with this guy. 86% of Americans support releasing the Epstein. 86%. You can't get 86% of Americans to agree on anything. And that includes sports. Nothing. But this 86% of Americans agree. Release the fucking files. Release them. Here's some news I found out today. I don't know how old this news is. I had already heard that there were like 1,000 agents who were going through flagging his name on these files. But this is out of Bloomberg. The Bureau's FOIA team, that's Freedom of Information Act, FOIA team tasked with conducting a final review of the records, blacked out the names before higher ups said last month that releasing the documents, quote unquote, would not be appropriate or warranted. And it says here the FBI redacted Trump's name in the Epstein files. So there's a lot of redactions there, and he still doesn't want to release these files. That must be some shit. It must be insane because, again, I'll say it again. I've said this before. I'll say it again. If it were just Democrats in there, this would be public knowledge. It would be plastered on billboards. It would be running 24/7 on Fox News and Newsmax and OAN. He would be holding, I'm telling you this, he would be holding press briefings and have each member of his staff read a full page on TV. He would be doing that. So the fact that it's not serious. I'll never forget, the look I saw on Kash Patel's face and Dan Bongino's face when they had been in office like 2 or 3 months, and they were talking about this to Joe Rogan maybe or somebody, and they spoke in hushed tones. And Kash Patel, who's at the top of that organization, said, "Oh, that's above my pay grade. It's above my pay grade. I can't deal with it." What, motherfucker? You were the gung-ho son of a bitch telling people to put their big boy pants on. Did you lose yours? And then this was the piece I said I got from Allison Gill. She wrote, exclusive here. This is in her Substack. Exclusive. Someone waived Ghislaine Maxwell's sex offender status to move her to a minimum security camp in Texas. So someone said that she was being moved to a minimum security camp in Texas. That was correct. According to sources, you can't move someone with a public safety factor, PSF designation, which Maxwell had, without waiving it. That's what happened here. So they are breaking the rules for this pedophile, for this child sex trafficker. Breaking the rules for her. Why? Who the fuck is she? Huh? Why are you making special arrangements for someone who hurt children? Should be the question asked to every public official in the Trump administration, every single one. There she is with Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre. That and Prince Andrew, he's just at the tippy tip of the list. Make that whole thing public knowledge. Bring those fuckers down. Bring them down. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican or independent. I don't care what their political party designation is. If that's how you got down, you don't deserve to be a part of society. Let me do a quick purge. I'm sorry. Let me do a quick purge of that topic. That topic gets me nasty. And I know we've all been wading through this muck and mire for the past month or two. It's nobody's fault but Trump's. Trump could have ended all this discussion when he was supposed to. When he was supposed to release this file. Oh, how come Joe Biden didn't release it? It's what I get every other tweet from Trumpers. Joe Biden didn't release it because, hello, they were busy prosecuting his son. If he had his hands in the law, in the Department of Justice, don't you think he would have bent the rules for his own son? He wasn't doing shit to break any taboo, he was not involved in the Department of Justice. And the person who was, Merrick Garland, was, was very reluctant to color outside the lines. He wasn't breaking any rules either. He was going by the book, so much so that Democrats hated him almost as much as they hated Trump. Yeah. So as a result, Trump kind of got a pass because Merrick Garland was so passive in doing his job. So anyway, I am watching part 2 of the Billy Joel documentary that's on HBO right now. If you are a Billy Joel fan, and if you're not, I don't know, we can't be friends. If I'm serious, Billy Joel is so big in my life. Billy Joel was like one of the first guys who I ever bought their album. Like when I was a little kid, I was like 9 or 10. I remember walking to the record store on Dykeman Street and be like, can I get this Billy Joel album? The Stranger, that one. I remember telling my mom or my dad, what I wanted for Christmas. It was always like a Billy Joel album. Yeah, he's great. And so the second part of the documentary, that the first part carried the first part of his life. The second part deals with him and his whirlwind romance with Christy Brinkley, who's there. And I remember when this happened, so Billy Joel always kind of projected as like a regular guy. He wasn't like super duper handsome or tall. He was like a short little pudgy dude from Long Island, had curly hair. He had a bit of an accent and attitude. He seemed like one of us, right? So when he hooked up with Christy Brinkley, suddenly every guy who was just like a regular Joe was like, what? So you say there's a chance? Yeah. So every regular guy thought they had a shot with an uptown girl. She'd been living in her uptown world. I bet she never had a backstreet guy. They talk about that album, Innocent Man, and it's a great show. It's just like, he tells like some of the stories behind some of the songs there. It's a great show. Promise you'll feel good. Oh, thank you, Cindy C. Cindy C, let me just back up. I know we're into the feel good part of the show, but Cindy C points out here, Biden didn't release it. This is an excellent point. Because there were active cases still being litigated, he followed the law about potentially tainting jury pools. Thank you. I wish I could copy and paste that. I wish I could copy and paste that, because literally I get so many people asking me that question, and I'm just like, you guys wouldn't even believe him. If Joe Biden had released the files, they would say it was fake news, that it was lawfare, and then nobody would believe the files, and that would have been that. So, yeah. So thank you for that, Cindy. Excellent. This next one here is a show starring Jason Momoa, who I really enjoy watching his stuff. He was in, I think, I would call an underrated science fiction show called See, also produced by Apple TV, CSEE. And in that show, the entire world was blind, except for his kids, who had the ability to see. Literally everybody was blind. They had been blind for centuries on Earth. Now in this, it's called Chief of War, and it's a show, and it's about and it's based off of a true story, right? It takes place in Hawaii at some point in the past, not too far. Hawaii was fighting amongst itself. There were like 4 different warring factions, and Jason Momoa's job is to make these 4 different factions stop fighting each other and come together and fight the incoming threat that was the white man. Yeah, the settlers from, I guess, America. So you probably know how that turns out, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know when this takes place, but Jason Momoa is badass, and it looks like a really badass cast and some good action scenes. I'm looking forward to watching this. We'll be watching this weekend. Yeah, there's one of the action scenes right there. Really cool, and he's badass when he fights. Yeah. Happy Gilmore. If you need to get your Happy Gilmore 2, if you need to get your comedy fix on, and you've already seen the first Happy Gilmore a dozen times or so, I still haven't gotten a chance to watch this yet because last weekend, you guys know I was away at the birthday party, and wifey and I. Oh, and this looks like a humongous cast of characters there. So I'm looking forward to seeing this weekend. But wifey and I, while we were in Miami, we also took in the Fantastic Four movie, Fantastic Four First Steps, and I give this a perfect 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Go see it in the movies. It's spectacular. It's going to easily be one of the best movies of the year, hands down. Oh, shit. What? Cindy C says you have to watch Jolly's. I'm assuming you mean Jolly Good Ginger featuring Jason Momoa. What? Oh my goodness, that dude is blown up. Jolly Good Ginger is blown up. But this movie, Fantastic Four, excellent. One of my top 10 all-time Marvel movies. Very entertaining. All right, so last but not least, let's handle this jackass, Donald Trump's dumbest comments of the week. It's always stiff competition, and this week is no different. And I'm just going to play this one here without further ado. Share screen. Do this. Go back here. I think it's up here. No. Yeah, it's this one here. Such a dumbass.
We knew that I won the election. I won that election by 2020. I won that election by so much. And the only reason I ran is because that was my ultimate goal. I knew how well I did. I won that election by millions of votes.
So that's why you ran again in 24.
Well, I wouldn't have done it. If I thought I lost, I wouldn't have done it. Because if I thought I lost. But we won that election by millions of votes. And we had an incompetent guy that never left his basement, that they kept quiet. Nobody knew what was, because, he was incompetent 25 years ago.
Yes.
The senators will tell you. And Joe at his best was an incompetent. And now he's really bad.
So that is a New York Post production, Miranda Devine. Frankly, I don't know how any grown person can look him in the face and smile when he says these obvious falsehoods, unless they're laughing at him. And if they're laughing at him, then make it more obvious. Don't hide that derisive laughter. Laugh out loud. But it's 2025, and he still thinks he won the 2020 election, and people don't disabuse him. This is the most maddening thing. This is the most maddening thing when you see somebody say, blatantly false things like, I don't know, gas is $1.98. No, it's not. Where is it $1.98? Somewhere. Where? You keep saying, you keep telling the American people it's $1.98 in several states. Name one of those states. It's not. It's not a thing. And I've looked it up several times. I don't know why I keep looking it up, because I think the back of my head, I'm like, well, maybe one of these times he's going to be right. So I look it up, and every time it's like, Grok will say the lowest it has been is 271 in Mississippi or Missouri, whatever, one of those two. And the national price is averaging $3.15 to $3.19. And I know this because I've checked multiple times. And they keep just letting him lie with impunity. And it's like, so the media is kind of complicit in creating that Frankenstein monster, who created his own Frankenstein monster. And they were complicit in the creation of that one as well. So here we are. Oh, wow. Look at that. Stephanie L says it's $2.81 at BJ's in Florida. That's a good price, actually. It's a pretty good price. It's, it's not like it's horrible. I'm going to be honest. We can be honest here. Even $3.15. I've seen it higher than $3.15. I remember paying $3.50 for gas. I think that was probably during Joe Biden's time in office. I wasn't happy with it, but the people in California, they've got it bad. Californians, the Californians are always paying like $4, $4.25, $4.50 a gallon. If I was in California, I'd be mad as hell. Just in general, their gas prices are so freaking high. Trump Reaper says, holy shit, $5 to $6? Oh my God. I would be fighting mad. I would be livid. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Do you have any questions for me? I have time for like this many questions because I gotta go pick up some pizza and some gas. One has nothing to do with the other thing. I think my tank is almost empty. Speaking of gas, it's hilarious because I do have to go and get some gas. Speaking of gas, let's see. Joe says, dude, if you're in SoCal, that's Southern California, those who don't know, just use your skateboard. That's funny. Last time I used one of those, I'm too old for that now. Tina Bradford says 309 to 320 in her area of Ohio. Yeah, that's not great. It's not horrible, but it's not great. I think the 309 is pretty decent. Watcher Soka says, I live here and paying higher gas prices is better than the smog we used to have. Oh, interesting. Oh, I see. So you mean that Watcher Soko means that the higher gas prices are kind of like a way to discourage people from driving. It causes more people to use mass transportations. Did you see the Mount Rushmore with me and JoJo? Yes, actually, I was the one who sent her. I sent her that picture. Somebody replied to one of my tweets with that picture, and I thought it was funny, so I sent it to her. I was like, look, check this out. So she posted it. It's funny. Yeah. Candace GT wants to know, question, Dershowitz suing Martha's Vineyard. I wish that, my opinion is, I wish that dude would just go away. Stop whining, man. Just fucking go move somewhere else. They hate you. They hate you, Alan Dershowitz. So you can't force anybody to love you. You can't. If they hate you, then just go move somewhere else. And then if you decide to stay there, then that's how it's going to be. Huh? You can't force them to like your I kept my underwear on ass. You creep. You dirty creep. That's my opinion on that. Let's see. Lori B wants to know, do you think Maxwell has been moved so that she can be Epstein? You know, you guys know I'm a closet, a not so closet conspiracy theorist. So yeah, that does tickle a part of my brain that thinks probably. Yeah, that's my that's my answer. I feel like there's stuff that, okay, people who indulge in conspiracy theories have been so thoroughly ridiculed that that it kind of opens the door for crazy conspiracy theories to be carried out, and then nobody questions it. Nobody thinks like, nobody thinks, oh shit, you know, that's that conspiracy theory. Nah, nobody would believe it because it seems like a conspiracy theory. So the most outlandish things that you would think they couldn't possibly have killed Jeffrey Epstein, because who would believe such a thing could happen, you know? But really, many people think that's what happened. So it's unfortunate. Lucy wants to know what kind of pizza. I'm don't laugh. Don't laugh. I kind of like Pizza Hut. I'm a closet Pizza Hut lover. Really. I don't know why. Joanne, I've had JoJo from Jers on the show many times. I don't see why not. I'll ask her. I'll see what her availability is for next Friday. We were supposed to do a Substack. We have a weekly Substack we do Thursdays at 2 or 2:30. And she couldn't do it yesterday, and she was having a rough time. So we'll do it next week. But yeah, I'll ask her if she's interested in coming on next Friday. Okay, guys, thank you so much once again for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. Here's Asmila J saying, Dershowitz is involved in literally everything that is bad. Isn't that the truth, though? Wasn't he the O.J. Simpson, one of the O.J. Simpson lawyers? Yeah. Yeah, folks, this was a fun episode today. I look forward to seeing you guys here with me next week, same time, same place. I love you all. Peace.